Tim in my office when he comes over. But I do want to share the fact that Tim really is an advocate for the community. A lot of times, and Mike gets to see this now, is when we're coming up with a policy or as we're going through ideas, Tim really does represent the community just as well as Dave does for the career folks and for the CIO Council as a whole. And so when Jeff is talking about understanding the policy, I would send edits back and say, no, this isn't clear enough, or we need this, or he's like, are you really sure you mean this? Are you really sure that you want to do this? And so the one policy, which is the milestone policy, we call it the milestone, and we call him Mr. Milestone. And I'm sure you guys are going to go out there and invent the software that's actually going to track all of this, and it's all going to be automated going forward because we have our part automated now. But all the eGov implementation plans tracking every agency's milestone, major, minor. If you miss 2 minor milestones in succession from a quarter, then that affects the status score, and then the progress. So Tim came up with this huge process of how we track the milestones and how we go forward on the eGov implementation plans. And when you think about it, if it wasn't for that and that consistency going across the board, we wouldn't have as many of these implemented as we do. So all of that comes from Tim's leadership, his management, and his working with the community, both industry and federal government as a whole, to make these successful. So we have a few things for Tim. And so I'm going to read them off, and Jeff, I don't know if you want to do the flag, but we had the flag flown over the Capitol, so we have 2. The flag was flown over the Capitol of the United States in honor of the 6th anniversary of the final passage by the Senate and House of Representatives of the E-Government Act of 2002 on November 15th, from 2002 to 2008, and this is presented to Tim Young in recognition of the results, and it's underlined, he has demonstrated in fulfilling the purposes of the Act. And we actually got the Act purposes all highlighted, but the first one says to provide effective leadership of the federal government's efforts to develop and promote electronic government services and the processes by establishing an administrator, and then it kind of goes through the rest of the stuff which you know. This was signed by Pete Sessions, the chair of the Results Caucus. And then we have one more. So we sent this one up. They wanted to do their own. You know how Congress can be sometimes. And so it says the United States Congress certifies that the United States flag here presented to Tim Young was flown over the Capitol on the 15th day, November 2008, in honor of the 6th anniversary for the final passage by the Senate and the House of Representatives of the E-Government Act of 2002. So this one is also signed by Pete Sessions. So on a personal note, I have a gift for Tim from me and the staff, and it's actually probably more for Michelle. But, because I figured he would get all this really cool stuff and he would take it all to his office. And so I bought a gift, and those who are familiar with Willow Tree, I bought 2 gifts for Tim. One is the father and daughter, and these are carvings out of, well, see everybody shaking their head. See, you think they're sweet, aren't they? Yeah, see? And the other one is a congratulatory angel. And so we're presenting these to Tim so that no matter where he goes, whether he's at the office or whether he's at home, he can always think of us in his community. And his wife and his daughter have given so much. We actually remember when Tim wasn't married, and so just remember, you can take one of these jobs and date and get married and have a baby. And so, he's very results oriented in all aspects of his life.